Yeah, what happened is that the Prime Minister requested a meeting without Chief Currie.
So why y'all said yes?
What's up, viewers and subscribers? Welcome back to the channel. Island Girl is here again with the trending news. Earlier, I posted a video where Richard Currie feels that he was sidelined or he was dissed by the Prime Minister. Well, we have proof here that the other chiefs, because we know there are 4 Maroon chiefs in Jamaica, and the other 3 met with the Prime Minister as per release by OPM. And now they are speaking out and they are saying they are no traitors, and they're trying to explain why they met with the Prime Minister after they had agreed that they would not meet unless all 4 was meeting with him. So let us hear what they have to say, and we kind of trash it out and we give a little 2 cents and tell me what you think. If you think they betrayed Richard Currie, or they went in the best interest of the Maroons and then tried to work out things with the Prime Minister so that he could meet with all 4 of them. So let us listen and you evaluate it for yourself and tell me what you think. Okay? So the colonel of the Moore Town Maroons, which is in Portland, that is Colonel Wallace Sterling, he has rubbished suggestions that a decision to accept an invitation to meet with the Prime Minister without the Accompong Town Chief Richard Currie was an act of betrayal. Because as we know, Currie has been sparring with the government over the 1738 treaty with the British government, which granted the indigenous group sovereignty over their lands, making them exempt from paying property tax and giving them full autonomy as a sovereign state. But questions have been raised in the government circle about whether the pact is still valid in post-independent Jamaica. So, last weekend, the Maroon colonels indicated in an interview that they have been seeking audience with Prime Minister Holness to try and ease the tension between the government and the indigenous groups, especially with those in the cockpit country, which is led by Richard Currie. Their concerns had also been heightened following recent revelation that the government had issued a directive for all ministries and agencies to cease from giving financial support to the indigenous groups. Following news that Prime Minister Holness, along with Olivia Babsy Grange and Minister without portfolio Robert Nesta Morgan, had later met with Sterling, Lloyd Latibodier, and Scots Hall Maroons. Currie suggested that his colleagues, the other Maroon leaders, renege on a plan for all 4 to stand as one. So, what do you think? If the 4 of them meet and decide that them nah meet with the Prime Minister, if he not say the 4 of them and 3 of them go meet, what do you think about that? Anyway, Currie said that everybody decided it was in the best interest of the collective and maintaining the position of one conversation having to do with the rights of the indigenous people and the Maroons. He said, having agreed to these terms within the last 24 hours, most of my disappointment was with the decision of the other three colonels. Sterling, the most senior of the Maroon colonels, said that an initial meeting was important to future talks. I do not think it is fair for Currie to ever think we would betray him. When we were contacted by the government, we insisted that Currie should be at the table, but they said no, not at this time, Sterling said. As a unified body, we don't want anyone to think that we are undermining them or being a traitor, he said. Latibodier also insisted that the last week's meeting was necessary to quell the tension and set the pace for Currie's participation in the next meeting. But the Accompong town leader argued that an icebreaker meeting which does not involve the voice of the representative of one of the territory would seem as if causing chaos, and it was nonsensical. There's an element of trust that needs to be babied. That needs to be preserved. Nanny of the Maroon wasn't the only Maroon hero, Currie said. Many talks, and they have never been there. They don't know what's happening. There's been so many funding that has come to this country on behalf of indigenous people, and none of it gets to spend here, he charges. And so,
that chief of the Accompong Maroons, Richard Currie, gave earlier today, saying that the other Maroon chiefs met with government without him, met with OPM without him, despite an initial decision that they should all meet together. Colonel Lloyd Latibodier is chief of the Scots Hall Maroons in St. Mary. Colonel, thank you so much. We appreciate you talking to us.
Thank you for having me.
So why the decision to go ahead and meet without Chief Currie?
Okay, let me make this clear that we all decided, every single one of us wanted a meeting, including Chief Currie. Now, while we were planning to have this meeting with the Prime Minister wanted a meeting with us at the same time. When we agreed last week, we said there should never be a meeting without all four of us, because all of us responsible for certain different areas. Now,
y'all backtracked on that pretty quick.
Say again?
I say y'all backtracked on that decision pretty quick.
No, we did not backtrack.
But you met without him?
No. Wait a minute.
You didn't? Because I see a statement from OPM.
Yeah, what happened is that the Prime Minister requested a meeting without Chief Currie.
So why y'all said yes?
No. The meeting that we wanted is two separate meetings now.
How is it two separate meetings?
Because we requesting a meeting with the Prime Minister, which should include everyone.
Right.
That meeting is still going to be held. Now, if the Prime Minister wants a meeting without, the reason why we had to go, because yesterday we had another meeting. Again, when the Prime Minister wants to meet with us, but without Chief Currie present.
But no divide and rule, Colonel, that straight.
No,
what you mean?
It's not.
It's straight divide and rule.
We are quite aware that this would occur. Now, what we wanted was dialogue with the Prime Minister.
With all of you together, correct?
But that will happen. But the first meeting, he sets the protocols.
Except you could all have said, except you all could have said, though, with respect, Mr. Prime Minister, we have decided as a community that we're all meeting together or none. You actually could, though.
Oh, but that wouldn't serve the purpose.
Oh, I thought the purpose was unity and strength of community.
Yes, but we have to start somewhere.
So you start where letting them divide and rule you?
No, they will not be able to do that. We are aware of that, and we discussed that last night. And even myself, I decided that I would not go because of the same reason, that it might divide us some more.
Except you did go.
Say again?
Except you did go.
Yes, I go. I was second thought because I wanted to hear what the argument was about. And it wouldn't be good for us to reject the offer from the Prime Minister.
It's not rejecting. It's just saying.
But if we didn't go, that's a rejection.
It's saying, Mr. Prime Minister, we've all agreed, which you said you had, that we all should meet together. If it's on an issue of Maroon rights, why on earth would you meet without one of your number present?
Exactly, and that was all of us concerned.
Except you all went and met.
Yes, but I think we did the right thing because we had a conversation starting.
How so? Because you have your colleague now on Instagram Live saying how the whole owner going to meet without him.
No, but he knew this was going to happen. I text Corey last night when I decided to go. He was the first person I texted. And I told him, I said, Chief, I will go to this meeting because I need to hear from myself what is taking place.
So tell us what took place.
Oh, gosh. There was a lot of discussion. I mean, it was mostly topics. We talk about issues that came up. We talk about quite a few things, nothing in concrete. It was just like headlines, issues that has to be raised, the corporate country, the mining,
and all of those clearly issues that also affect the Accompong Maroons. So you still think it was appropriate to meet without Chief Currie?
These issues affect Jamaica. It's a Jamaica problem, not Accompong Maroon, not Scots Hall Maroon, not the government. But at the end of the day, the meeting that we had was a good meeting. It is good for Jamaica.
Without one of your number.
Maroons, it's good for the indigenous people, and it's good for Jamaica. It's a start, and we need a start.
All right. So when there are other controversial issues and they continue to seek to divide and rule, what are you going to do? If there are further concerns about bauxite mining, about extraction of water, about using Maroon lands, and they say we're only going to meet with you, Latibudi, or we're not going to meet with Currie.
No, this cannot happen anymore.
But it just happened.
Well, what I'm saying is that the concern that Currie has, we have the same concerns.
Except you met, so you can't have the same concerns. His concern was that y'all shouldn't meet without him.
We have to start the conversation.
Okay.
We must start talking.
All right.
And if he's going to talk without Currie, let's talk and see where we're going. We didn't talk about Currie. We didn't make no decision.
Of course not. What it is a show of the government saying we are isolating Currie. That is what it is.
How Currie puts it, and this is how.
No, it's not how Currie put it, Colonel. That is how it is. The Prime Minister meets with all the Maroon chiefs without Currie. It's a clear isolation of Currie.
No, that's not the case. The case is that the Prime Minister is saying this is not a time, and
he's a politician, Colonel. He's a politician, and politicians do what politicians do. And
yes, but he's our Prime Minister.
All right.
Okay.
Have to leave it there, Colonel. Have to leave it there. I have to go to your other colleague because I'm running out of time. But I appreciate your time. I hope we can speak again.
Very, very prosperous meeting.
I'm sure. Thank you so much. I have to leave it there because I have to go to Colonel Wallace Sterling of the Moore Town Maroons in Portland. Colonel, thank you so much for talking to us. We appreciate it. Hearing me, Colonel?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
How are you doing, sir? Thank you so much for talking to us. Same question to you. Isn't this divide and rule that y'all allowed to happen?
It can be constituted as a...
Indeed.
Yeah, but...
So why not let that happen?
All right, let us put it this way. From number 1 Jump Street, from all of this controversy started, I have stated clearly that the best thing to do is to have dialogue, sit down, and deal with the matter, because these are important issues that has to be dealt with. Irrespective of who raised the issue, they are there. Okay. There have been heated exchange between the Prime Minister and Currie.
I don't think there have been any exchanges at all, actually.
Well, okay, fine. Well, the Prime Minister said things, Currie said things. We had our meeting with Currie, the Colonel, and when we were having that meeting, before we had that meeting, right, we got a request from the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport via the Minister, Ms. Crange, trying to broker some deals between the Maroons and the government. And they requested that because of where the temperature is now, that the Prime Minister does not think it is appropriate to want to meet with Currie at this moment.
That makes sense to you? Isn't this the exact time at which you would want to see a meeting between the two to show people that there is now a coming together and a tamping down of the temperature?
It might seem that way, and that is why we met, because we want to have our next meeting, because this meeting was really what we had planned, and we have written to the government. We want to send off a communique to the government to say, okay, fine, we're requesting a meeting, and these are the items that we want to have to discuss.
So these issues don't involve the Accompong Maroons?
The issues involve all the Maroons.
And yet you allowed the meeting to proceed without the representative of one of your communities?
Because in our judgment, we want to make sure that we do not end up in a meeting with any shouting at anybody. What are the consequences?
Wow! On a rate on a colleague at all. You think Chief Currie is going to go in there and shout at the Prime Minister?
That is how you might others might look at it, right?
I know me. You just said such, Colonel.
No.
You said we wanted to ensure that we didn't end up in a meeting with shouting, and I'm saying you all think Chief Currie is going to go in there and shout at the Prime Minister. I know me, so you say so.
The Prime Minister will shout at him. Why is it that Chief Currie has to shout at the Prime Minister?
You think the Prime Minister might shout at him? Really?
Well, it could be.
Really?
Why?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we're human beings, aren't we?
Colonel, tell me, I'm out of time. Tell me quickly, what happens now?
We will be meeting in approximately 2 more weeks with everybody involved, where we can iron out the differences. We put our concern on the table, the government put their concern on the table, and we work, and we more than likely will end up with a working committee that will go forward in dealing with the Maroons affair, all the Maroon interferes with government with the Maroons, and we can put this thing to rest, because we are going to be celebrating 60 years of independence, and we cannot go into this 60 years of independence with this untidy situation.
There's a whole heap more to talk about, Colonel. Hopefully we can talk to you another day. I'd love to.
Be my pleasure.
Thank you so very much. Colonel Wallace Sterling talking to us from the Moore Town Maroons. Let's take the break. We'll soon come.